Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bueller and Friends Monday night. It's July 20, 2020. Isn't that like a coolest date ever? I just thought I had so much fun writing that I wrote it a couple of times. And and my name is Louise Kohl, and I have a fun, short but fun um, presentation for you. It's an expansion on something that I've shared a long time ago, but I readdressed it. So let's go ahead and get started. So just go ahead and open up your mics. And does anybody know who Ivy Lee is? Hooray!
No.
Nobody said anything. Well, just to give you a little background, he is actually known to be he was an American publicist and the founder of what is now modern public relations and everything that public relations is built on for companies. And I mean, Relive has amazing public relations, and I found it really fascinating. I'd never heard of him either, but he developed an Ivy Lee method, and we'll go into that. But he developed an Ivy Lee method um, uh, that is a hundred-year-old strategy, 100 years old. He was in the 1919s, 1920s, for helping people become more productive at work. So let's just go into I forgot what my next slide is. So let's see. Okay, let me give you a little bit more background about the method, because we'll go into there's 6 steps. But under the Ivy Lee method, at the end of each night, and this is a summary, we'll go over it again, you write down your 6 most important tasks to accomplish the following day in order of importance. So what you're doing is you're in that mode. You're not completely alert. You're getting ready to go to bed. So you're in what's called the theta state. And when you're in the theta state, I don't mean to sound like I have a clue, but I've been reading. And things that you are reading really attach to your subconscious because there's no defense. When you're in the delta state, you're out. Forget it. Nothing's happening. But this is just before that, in that relaxed time, like going to bed. And then the next day you begin working on the tasks one at a time. Now, you may not get them all done, but you work on them one at a time. And the strategy works because it reduces decision fatigue. You don't have to be deciding, well, should I do this first or should I do that first? And being someone who always, and I'm speaking for myself, always is, I have this shiny object syndrome. So just as an example, I was collecting all my canning supplies for my ex-daughter-in-law who's starting to can, and I'm like, oh, this is great. I can get rid of this stuff because I have a small amount. I don't need all of this, let me just pass it on. That's great. But in doing that, I was pulling out the canning stuff and realized that this area needed to be swept, which I did. I swept the area. And then I thought, well, you know what? All of these buckets that contain stuff, they don't really need to be here because some of them are empty. So anyway, you get the picture. I did end up putting all the canning stuff together for her to pick up. But my goodness, what would have taken me maybe 15 minutes took half a day because I was following the shiny object. So that was me saying, okay, Ivy Lee method, Louise, Ivy Lee method. So here it is. It's a 6-step method, Ivy Lee. There's actually an app called Ivy Lee method app that you can put your 6 things in and handle them. So you guys go ahead and check it out. And it recommend to achieve peak performance and high productivity on a daily basis. So number 1, and this is the first word, is very important, and the second word is as well. Clearly define your vision, your goals and objectives for life, business, and health. So you've got to have those in place already. Then at the end of each day, oh, typo, at the end of each day, preferably in the evening, write down the 6 most important tasks that you need to complete the following day to achieve your vision, goals, or objectives. Are they green light things? And yes, we're talking, I mean, we're all relive distributors and we're building businesses, but it doesn't just have to be about that. If you have something that needs to take place and it's nagging you, you're not going to be that productive on the phone. So take care of it, whatever it is. Then rank and prioritize these 6 tasks in order of importance. So at first you're just jotting them down. No particular, it's just sort of what's it called, stream of consciousness. Then you prioritize them, and then after that, you have a nice sleep because you know what's happening in the morning. And every morning you begin with the most important task, which is at the top of your list. And you do not move on to the next task until the previous one is complete. Delayed gratification. You don't get, and this is what I do. I'm like, yeah, that probably won't get done, so I'm going to do these. They're easier. The first one is the first one. You get that done, and truly the other things just start to fall into place. And sometimes while you're doing that first task, you're already accomplishing the other ones because they're part of it. It's really important to not move on until that first task is done. You know, don't make it like, you know, I want 10,000 volume today. Be reasonable, but be productive. And if you clearly know and have defined your purpose, your goal, and your objective, then it's not hard to put those in place because they are moving towards that. Then after that, work your way through the 6 tasks on the list in order from the most to the least important. If at the end of the day you don't finish a task, you don't beat yourself up. You move it to the new list of 6 tasks for the following day. You guys, this was like such a big, huge permission for me to be okay with just getting one thing done rather than beating myself up because I didn't do it all and I should have, and what's the matter with me, and yada yada, and so on and so forth, so that the next day, am I making another list of 6? Probably not, because it was too painful. This is permission. Just work from 1 down to 6. Maybe it takes you a couple of days. And then rinse and repeat this process every day. You know, a friend of mine just recently said to me, I was talking about some challenges and not complaining, but you know, what would be the best way to handle this? Did I handle it right? And her response to me was so profound. She said, in your heart, bless them, change me. Because it's about how we are. Yes, we are here for someone else. It's about what they want and all of that. But if we are not blessing them with our authentic attitudes, then bless them, change me. I gotta change. And it keeps you humble. Does me. Anyway. So here's the story of how this all transpired. So the Ivy Lee method was presented to Charles Schwab, and I think you all know who Charles Schwab is. And he tried it out for 3 months, and then he met with Ivy Lee to review the results. And I'm just going to read this. The efficiency and sales of Bethlehem Steel, which is Charles Schwab owned, had improved so much that Schwab wrote Lee a check of $25,000, the equivalent of $458,454 and some cents, and that was in last year's economy, and later noted that the Ivy Lee method was the most profitable advice he had ever received. Now, their original contract was Ivy Lee said, try this for 3 months, and then based on the results, you pay me what you think it was worth to you. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Because he had so much confidence in that, but it was also confidence in the fact that the people who were making these lists had a clear, defined vision. Charles Schwab had a clear, defined vision. If he hadn't, this would not have worked. And that is, I guess that is encapsulated in know your why. But I have found in doing Relive in life that there's so much more to why than just say, hey, what's your why? It's that clear, defined vision. And so, and then here's the rest of the story. That within a couple of years, Bethlehem Steel Company became America's second largest steel producer and largest shipbuilder. Charles Schwab himself amassed a personal net worth of over $200 million in 1920s dollars as a result of this success. So 100 years later, that's the equivalent to 3,665,635,036 and some change. You guys, I had to read that over and over again, and I still didn't get it right. Did I get it right? Anyway, it's a lot of money. It's like a lot of money. But here is the crux of it. That picture that is in the background, that's not a clock. It's not a deadline. It's a compass. What direction are you going? Here are steps that can help you in that direction. But because it's not timed, not a clock, you follow the compass. Anything, you've heard this all before. When one is following a compass and they just go up just a slight, it does not even a degree off the course. A mile down the road, you're so far off, you can't even see where you're supposed to be. Just staying the course, staying true north. Never mind what comes your way. You've got your 6 things, and you're handling them according to your vision. And what is so awesome in Relive is that we have support. We have people, mentors, masterminds who have the same goal. And we can talk about it. And a very new thing that I have observed about myself is, Louise, it's okay to ask for help. What a revelation. And isn't it amazing when you ask for help, how willing people are there to help you? It's just an ego thing for me. It was just an ego thing. Just get that out of the way. Not important. Not important. True north. So here is the quote. We all know it. Keeping it simple is hard. It is hard, but it's not the make it or break it. It's just keeping it simple. And I'm pretty sure it was you, Robert, that gave an amazing presentation about large companies that we are very familiar with who have kept it simple. And the example was Amazon. It's so simple to order from Amazon. It really is simple, but it was hard to put that together. But is it worth it for them? Oh yeah. the beauty of our website, of Relive's website, and what they offer to us, it's so simple. I just was amazed at the simplicity of it today with a brand new person who was just calling me up and went through it, and and I wasn't online. We were just talking, and she had it on her phone. Amazing. So keeping it simple is hard, but keep it simple because nobody wants to go through difficulty to do anything, even if it's the right thing. If it's the right thing for your body to do, you just like, oh, it's too much effort, and then it's quit talking and writing about it. Just do it. Our favorite person, Tom Pennick, right out of his mouth. Amazing. We have amazing mentors. We have amazing support. I don't know any place that is like it. When I was telling this new actually the new distributor today, she had she had contacted me, and then we were talking, and she said, well, it was suggested to me that I call this other person, and should I call them first, or do you all work together? And I said, actually, no, we are not financially connected at all, but that person has some amazing information and would be more than willing to share it with you. You've already got an appointment, so get the information. And she said, well, but I mean, wouldn't that be awkward for that person? And I went, well, if it is, I know this person really well. We will have a talk. It won't be, because it's the Relive way. It doesn't happen anywhere else. I hear over and over how, oh my gosh, you guys do that? And you're not financially connected? And nope. How can we help you? How can we help you? So, you guys, that is the Ivy Lee method. And I want you to think about it. I love this quote from Amelia Earhart. The most difficult thing is the decision to act. Then the rest is merely tenacity. You make that decision, be honest with yourself, be true to yourself, and just be tenacious. Somebody's mother said to me, I think, well, said to her son, who repeated it to me, Louise is just a really nice person. I love working with her, but she's so tenacious. And I'm like, yes! I loved it. But that's what I have for you this evening. Simple, but it works. It works. So be kind to yourself and give yourself permission to do the next right thing, because it's the next right thing. And then after that's done, you go on to the next thing. It's helped me keep focused, and this shiny squirrel, shiny object syndrome, whatever, it can be difficult. But when I've got my 6 things, I know what has to be done first. The canning stuff can wait. I still need to do what I call green light. It's going to bring my vision to light. So love you all. Thanks for being on. And I'm going to stop the recording now. Okay, it stopped.
Thank you, Louise.